for students? What is the allocation for education? Budget 2023 allocation for the Ministry of Education for the next financial year is 112 lakh crore rupees. Notably, this is the highest allocation granted to the ministry ever in the higher education budget. So the centre has allocated 1,554 crore rupees for PM Uchatar Shiksha Protsahan, that is PM USP Yojana, and 400 crore rupees for PM Research Fellowship in boosting Digital India e-learning. The government has allocated 420 crore rupees. What we did earlier, my colleagues Deepak and Arunil spoke to management students, management graduates who are of course waiting to grab jobs. Let's listen into their perspective on this.
Many people are saying that up until now, we've seen, budgets being announced, but, nothing was there really for the common man in the last few years. Finally, do you feel that this is done enough for the common man of India?
I think the government has really listened to the industry as well as the common man, because in terms of taxation, the kind of reforms that they've brought, really something that the people were demanding for the last 2 years. And in the healthcare sector also, the industry was demanding a focus on research, and that's something that the government has done. In terms of, let's say, allocating ICMR labs to public and private partnership for healthcare research, and also, promising that a program will be launched for new research and innovation in pharma. That's something that the industry was demanding. So there's been a focus in terms of listening to what the people were demanding.
Okay, I have with me here on the program Radhika Gupta, CEO of Edelweiss Asset Management Limited. Very good afternoon, ma'am. Good to have you with us on Mirror Now. So I'm going to, begin right away by asking you about investment and savings, because that is your specialization. And I'm going to begin by asking you that what are the opportunities in this budget for those who intend to save more or those who intend to invest better?
I think, good afternoon. I think the budget has given, the common man more disposable income by way of tax relief, which means that you can consume more, but that also means you can invest more. I think the second is the budget has outlined the importance of growth in India and that we will be a growth-driven economy. And finally, for the common person, growth comes from investing in equities. It comes from investing in the leading companies. In fact, the budget has spoken about the importance of literacy, simplifying investment via KYC for the common man. So I think, the good old mutual fund vehicle, using equity mutual funds to create wealth, with the extra income that you have is really the opportunity that we have of us. We've all heard about the growth story that India will see in the next 10 years, and that is going to be realized through equities and equity funds.
Is there anything particular from your expertise that you would like to advise investors, service people, people like me, employees? Where can we now look at opportunities? Any specific thing that you are particularly interested in after hearing the union budget?
So I don't think it's budget specific, but I think it's a continuation of what we've been hearing in the last few budgets, which is a focus on financialization. So my specific advice is get into the habit of monthly saving and monthly investing if you are a salaried professional. If you've got a little bit of a tax break because of the budget, because you are a salaried professional, consider increasing the amount you do via systematic investment plans and just adding to your investment kitty on a month-on-month basis.
That's interesting. And of course, I also have to ask you about the decisions that are left to the citizen, to the taxpayer, on exemptions, on whether they should stick to the old tax regime or move to the new one. Where do you stand on these aspects, ma'am?
So it's looking quite clear that the new tax regime is the default one. And while the old one has deductions, I think directionally a lot of benefits are being given in the new tax regime. Now, everybody will do their individual math. I think for an under 1 crore taxpayer, perhaps the new regime after what has been announced may look a little attractive. For a very high earner, that may also be the case. So everyone will do their individual math. But things seem to suggest that directionally the government is nudging you towards becoming the new tax regime. I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years the old one is just phased out. So I think we all have to at least do our math and develop comfort with the new regime. And of course, each one of us will take our individual decision.
Yes, individual decisions, individual choices are paramount. Prioritizing on certain things, is something that every individual will have to take a call. But I want to ask you about one aspect that I heard about the nudge, since you use that word, to move from physical gold to e-gold, for instance. These are certain new, sort of ideas that we are hearing. What is your interpretation? How will you help a Mirror Now audience to understand this, why this is important and how it will help?
See, I think in the last few years, what the government has rightly pushed is a move towards digital, and India sort of leads the world in digital infrastructure. Moving out from physical assets to financial assets. I have always believed that if you have to invest in gold, and gold can be part of your portfolio, should be part of your portfolio, then the allocation should be financial gold, whether it is e-gold or sovereign gold bonds. It should be e-gold because you don't have the basic issues of safety and custody, and it's there when you need it. And I always believe that there are two kinds of gold as a woman. There's gold that is in the form of jewelry, that is not an investment, and then there is gold that is a financial investment, and that definitely should not be done through the physical route.
Right. If we can put out the graphics on what gets cheaper and what gets more expensive, since you were talking about, where we can save, and also in terms of how we can, now sort of, in some ways at least, recalibrate our purchasing choices. If we can put that out for our viewers, TV panel, mobile parts, electric vehicle, lithium batteries get cheaper. What gets more expensive are cigarettes, silver, gold, electric chimney. So we can very clearly see that luxury items and those non-essential items are being taxed more, are going to get more expensive. What I'm trying to come to is that in the overall picture, when you look at the budget, when you look at the tax regime, for instance, it seems as if the benefits are directed towards the lower income groups, and they are not necessarily the segment that goes for strong financial planning and investments. For example, those who earn up to 7 lakhs annual income will not have to pay taxes. But how are you going to draw this segment to also invest and save?
I think there is, as you said, a big opportunity for the people in the under 7 lakh group to widen the net of people who are investing. Even today, you have only 4 crore odd Indians investing in a very trusted vehicle like mutual funds, when the number of PAN card holders or the number of insurance policy holders is significantly higher. So there is a challenge for our industry to bring all these people into the investment ambit, knowing that today you can start an SIP with as little as 100 or 500 rupees. I think one of the things that hasn't perhaps been covered as much is the FM's thrust on financial literacy right from a very young age to a more evolved age. So, we have done campaigns as an industry like Mutual Fund Sahi Hai, and perhaps it's time to think of how we can expand this, as there's a much wider potential net of savers and investors who can come to the fold.
You go, the Saptarishi term that has come in, the 7 areas of focus that the finance minister spoke, the green growth push. Is there anything that interests you particularly among those 7 focus areas? Green hydrogen mission, energy transition, energy storage projects, renewable energy evacuation, green credit program, and PM Pranam. As well as the Govardhan scheme and the Bharatiya Prakritik Kheti Bio Input Research Centers. These are the focus areas. Of course, we will, in due course of the program, go into these areas individually. But I want to understand from you that this is again a new aspect, what we see, the green push, the switch to electric vehicles. Is there something that you would like to comment on in this aspect when it comes to the Saptarishi that the finance minister so eloquently spoke about?
I particularly liked the push on agri-tech. It is, as I said, it's a known fact that India has sort of led the way in digital infrastructure, and to bring modern technology and to bring a tech-based approach to agriculture, which is sort of a core of, has been an important part of the economy, I think is extremely important. So I like that push. I think the general green push, whether it is electric vehicles, whether it is in agriculture, is important, particularly from a global capital point of view. I think things like ESG, matters like ESG, are getting more prominence, and India has the opportunity to sort of take a leadership position in this. We also hold G20 presidency right now. So I think it also comes at the right time.
All right, it comes at the right time. There's a lot of optimism that we are hearing from experts like you throughout this morning. Thank you very much, Radhika Gupta, for joining us here on this program and for giving us your views.
Thank you.
Let's in fact listen in.